they are also telling us that, these cuts and these fees are putting us at risk not of losing our probation. I want to reassure people, the goal here isn't that, we're going to lose accreditation. However, we have to file substantial reports to the NEASC people when we make a change of any significant amount, and these rising fees and these cuts, if they're made, would certainly need to be reported, and they would potentially move our accreditation to from warning to probation. Again, we're not saying that will happen. We're saying that's possibly a risk. And we get that information from the director of the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, who actually has come out to the district to speak with us. At this time, I would also like to point out that Janet Allison, who is the director of NEASC, is going to be in Georgetown on April 25th, next Monday night. She's going to be at the Board of Selectmen meeting from 6 to about 6:45, and then she's going to be at the middle high school from 7 o'clock to at least 8 o'clock to do a session for the public. So I really encourage anyone who wants to understand the accreditation process better, who wants to talk about the situation that Georgetown's in with its accreditation, I urge you to come to that meeting. It's a wonderful opportunity to just have a Q&A with someone, who's really an expert in the whole NEASC operation. So that's a big factor for us, is that we want to continue to maintain at least the level of services and programs we have and not fall below warning status. So people have asked us, well, again, what will happen if it fails? If it fails, what we have on the override cut list is what will be cut. There will be no found money. It will be cut. It will mean that 18 to 20 staff members will be laid off. The town may incur up to $400,000 in unbudgeted unemployment costs. Class sizes, as Terry mentioned earlier, will increase at all schools. Now, the way it works at the high school is, depending on how students register, some classes will be smaller than others. But what we're trying to do is to keep the class sizes on average below 30 students. And at the elementary schools, again, if the override fails, for example, the fourth grade classes will be an average of 28 students in those classes. They were, when we set up priorities on this override list, that was a very high priority to keep. But again, if the override doesn't pass, everything on the list will be cut. More students will be in study halls, as we mentioned, and then again, that doesn't count toward time on learning. You've heard about the fees and the clubs, the bus fee, and we won't be doing much in the way of improving custodial maintenance or technology in the schools.
And Carol, the one thing that we forgot to put on this as a potential that would happen is some of those cuts do affect our new special ed programs that we've created internally.
Yeah.
And if those programs go away, that may or may not, but I guess I'll use the word may, create a situation where students that we have brought back from out of district, who we're educating successfully here in district, will end up going out of district. That requires tuition and transportation, and those are unbudgeted.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the other things that we've heard a lot about is, teacher salaries and raises, and is that in the override? And I think it's been pointed out quite well in the newspaper, both by the town administrator and Selectman Phil Trapani, that the raises are in the budget, in the original budget. The only raises that are in the override budget would be involving the actual positions that are in the override. And I know that there's been some concern about, teachers are getting a raise, and the third year of the contract, and how much money teachers are being paid in the third year. And I would not begin to debate that. That was a negotiated contract that was done, that was initiated before the start of this recession, and the intention was never to backfill. It was only to deal with, the immediate, when we first negotiated the contract, the school committee was looking at what was in front of them in terms of the first 2 years, anticipating, as we all hoped, the economy was going to get better as the years went on. That has not been the case. But I will say that the teachers have been, willing to come to the table and talk about health insurance. They are aware of the concerns of the public, as are the administrators aware of the concerns of the public. This is a tough time for everyone. The ongoing conversations about health insurance continue. But I do feel like, I need to remind people that while it is true that the teachers, would be getting a raise, I think it is important to point out that when we make comparisons, and we do have to benchmark, even if I know we're Georgetown and we only care about Georgetown, it is important that when we keep things in perspective, what we realize is that when we benchmark, our teachers their salaries are below the state average significantly, and they are the lowest in the North Shore. And the reason we compare to the North Shore is because when a teacher comes to our district and we do all the training and we break them in, so to speak, and then they have the opportunity to leave the district because they're right in neighboring districts or not on the North Shore. They don't even have to. They can work within commuting distance. There are teachers that feel that they need to leave because the pay is significantly less. The other thing that we face, and it is a sign of the times, and I totally understand the cost to the town, is the health insurance. And I think the unions in town pay their share when they pay 60-40, they pay 40%, whereas most of the colleagues that our teachers work with in the area are doing 70-20, 75-25 or 80-20, or so again, I think that we all we want to keep our best teachers. We know that the only thing that really impacts student achievement is the quality of the teaching. And so, we have placed a high value on maintaining our teacher workforce, where we have taken risks and cut other things back so that we could not lose programs and services and high quality teachers. Our teachers have great working conditions here. They get to work with great kids. But I do think it is important to understand that, these teachers are not being paid what colleagues in similar districts are being paid. So, we also need to point out that while we didn't save the town money, I know we've said that before, and I think it's important for us to clarify what we mean by that. What we have done is we have slowed the growth of the district by $729,000 over the course of the 3 years of the contract. So while the teachers did get a raise, the teachers also froze on their same step for 2 years, money that they're never going to get back. It's not like in the third year they make that all up. That was money that they permanently basically forfeited, as well as gave back some other benefits that were put back into the pot of money and distributed amongst the teachers.
Yeah, and it would actually, Carol, you must have read my email without me looking at it, because that essentially is our email question, talking about the teachers and the superintendent's pay rates and how that compares, and just a couple of other things just for specifics, because I'm one of those guys that remembers some of the numbers. Our teachers are $6,800 below the state average. They are last in the 22 communities that we compare with on the North Shore and other communities that the state of Massachusetts deems as communities we ought to compare with. I think, if I recall, the superintendent rates in the area, yours is next to the last?
I'm
Next
not
to the
sure, but
lowest?
it's on the.
It is on our
just take-
website with the questions. And I know that we've been surveying that. The other thing about the health insurance, I would just note, our teachers pay 40%, have for a number of years. There is one other community that recently, and I say recently within the last couple of years, went to a point where its employees have to pay 35% of their health insurance. There are two others that pay 25% and the rest pay 20%. So our teachers have been contributing significantly more towards their health insurance than any other community on the North Shore for a number of years. And we're looking for the superintendent number right now.
8, 9, 10. So I'm 5th out of 12.
You're fifth.
I'm
fifth
5 out of 12.
Of the lowest, fifth lowest.
I'm the 5th, yes, I'm
You're
the
the
5th
fifth.
lowest.
The fifth lowest, right. You're the fifth lowest. Of the 12 we were able to survey, and we're still actually doing some surveys with some other districts, but, so again, we aren't paying, certainly high rates or unreasonable rates to any of our staff. And again, if you want to be competitive, and again, you think about our teachers and you think about the North Shore, that's our market. If we're the lowest, it's going to make it, one, very attractive for our good teachers to look for another job in our area, which we certainly don't want to happen. But two, when we want to attract the best and the brightest teachers, it's hard for us to get them. So that's very important.
I know on our website, we've been pointing out that under the superintendent's corner, we have a budget page, and on that budget page, there's a document center. So in that document center, you will find 2 sets of questions that we've answered. Actually 3 sets of questions. One was a number of questions that were asked of us by the Finance and Advisory Board that dealt with, again, teacher negotiated raises, class size and staffing, school choice, accreditation, et cetera. That document is on the website. We also have put together questions and answers, 2 sets of questions and answers. The ones that Terry and I drew from tonight were the second set that we published in April, like a week ago. They were also in the Georgetown Record. In addition to that, we're doing this evening's program because some people just, want to see a face-to-face discussion. This is an easier forum for them to access. They can't necessarily get to the web. So we're happy to answer any questions that you have. Please, it's close to 8 o'clock. We've been at this an hour. We would love to continue, but if we don't hear from you in the next 5 minutes or so, what we will plan to do is to direct you again to the website. We do have Ask the Superintendent. I'm very happy to answer questions there. The school committee will be meeting again on April 28th. They obviously have a public participation session in every school committee, and the school committee emails are on the website. They would love to hear from you as well. Terry's putting up on the screen.
If we could put our PowerPoint back up.
Yeah.
That's some of the contact information for Carol, myself, Ann Donahue, the chairman of the school committee. And as Carol mentioned, going to our website, there's a great deal of information there. You can, actually, one of the documents you can also view there is the entire budget. So if you want to look through every single line of the budget, you're welcome to do that. So it's posted on the website.
And if you'd like to have a meeting with us to go through it, and one of the things that we want to be completely transparent about is what's in the budget and what its value is. We also do have the override list and the rationale for each item in the override list and its connection to our priorities for your review.
And what you can't see at the bottom of that, because it's behind the phone number, but that's okay, because there's no web link there, is, again, I would remind folks that if you want to know how much of a tax increase you might personally feel from a $1.2 million override, there is now a tax calculator. It's on the Town of Georgetown website, and I believe it's supposed to be on the very front page. I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure you will be easily directed from their web site to wherever it is located.
And, we want to thank the Town of Georgetown for all of the support it has provided for education. It's certainly very much appreciated. We have enjoyed, we are a very successful school district, and we want to continue to protect and preserve the kinds of quality educational opportunities for our students that they've, again, had to have enjoyed for years. As I said, we're proud of our success. We talk all the time about continuous improvement. Our goal is to continue to get better and better, so that our students can be successful and be competitive and have all the opportunities that they richly need and deserve as they graduate from our fine school district. So this is an opportunity, again, for us to just give you information. We respect whatever decisions the voters of Georgetown make when they go to the town meeting on May 2nd and to the polls on, hopefully to the polls on May 9th. Again, thank you for joining